It is Monday, everyone. Welcome into the News 10 Plus Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Gattoni with Rochelle. How are you doing?
Good. I looked down for a quick second and I was like, oh, here we are. It's Monday. How are you?
We're tired.
You're tired.
So tired.
Taylor, you gotta wake up.
I know. I just got some more caffeine in me. I'm waiting for it to kick in. Well, okay,
Friday.
here's why.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this weekend,
Yes.
me and a coworker, we went up to the UP for the first time. Went to see Pictured Rocks and to Quamanon Falls.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, that drive wiped me out. The hiking, the drives, I'm so tired, but it was well worth it.
Gosh. Definitely
well
worth it. You know, I haven't been there yet, but I did see your photos on Facebook.
Oh, there's plenty more. There was about 1,000 pictures. Yeah, we only put 18 pictures up. Yeah, there's a lot.
Is that all they allow at a time for you to put up?
They definitely allow more, but I was like, we'll limit it. This might be too much. I'll show you
No,
later.
it is
They're all
never
on my phone.
too much. I was going to say Friday was National Coffee Day. You should have kind of loaded up on all the specials and discounts.
I should have.
And, you know, it should have ran you through the weekend.
Just have all the coffee. Would have been too jittery, but that would have kept me awake a little bit.
You know what could pick you up? You know what could wake you up a little? Studio 10 at 3.
Studio 10. Bring that energy.
All right, let me tell you, we always bring the
to?
energy. A lot of things. So actually, yesterday, started the first day of October.
I know. Can you believe that? That's wild.
Yeah, I know. The year is going. I was like, wait a minute. There's so many things I haven't done yet. But it also marked the start of 517 Community Week. So, you know, we usually talk with Sarah Pierce, who started the 517 Living group talk to her on Fridays, but she said the first week of October is just dedicated to just putting an extra spotlight on all the businesses and everyone in our community that just makes it the amazing place that it is. So we're going to talk to her a little bit about that, but keep your eye out on a lot of those businesses that you love, a lot of those venues and whatnot that are doing specials this week that want to bring you in just so you can kind of get a chance to get to know everyone there.
Yeah.
Again, you know, it's not just about I'm going into a business, I'm getting what it is that I need, the service and in and out, but kind of getting a chance to put a face to a name.
Connect with the people.
Connect with them, which is, you know, of course, something we love doing on Studio 10, but she's dedicating the whole week for everyone within the community. And don't forget, 517, it's not just Lansing, but it's all those neighboring towns around. So
yeah,
we're going to talk to you a little bit about that and where you can find those lists of businesses that are doing that as well.
Okay.
So there is that, and it also marks another beginning for us, too, Teacher of the Week.
Oh, there you go.
So
very fun.
We know how hard our teachers work in our schools, whether it's elementary, middle school. So we're bringing this segment back where we put a special highlight and a special thank you to a teacher who just, of course, goes above and beyond for her students. And so every week, you at home can nominate a teacher that you know that is doing an amazing job, and then she or he will get a free field trip to IQ Hub. Where they go with their students and they get free transportation and whatnot.
Oh, that's nice.
It is so exciting. We had so many entries last year. We're already getting a whole lot now.
Field trips. So get me out of the school. Let me walk around a bit, explore.
Okay, yeah. So that was just so. Nicole and I actually went there.
Oh, there you go. That's
and
fun.
I was like, can I go back to elementary school? It's for everyone. You know, to be a kid at heart too. But that's really exciting. So we're going to announce our first Teacher of the Week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Plus, To Kill a Mockingbird, those performances start tomorrow at Wharton Center. Speaking of school, I know we've all read that book while we were usually in high school. Well, they're coming to East Lansing tomorrow.
Okay.
We got a chance to talk to one of the actors, and so we're giving you a preview on what to prepare. Hint, she also said you don't have to study and kind of do a Spark Notes version. You don't have to go back and kind of remember, you know, what the book is about and whatnot, but there's studying for you to do after. So it's a very enlightening show. Really open your eyes to things. And you know, it's one thing when you read a book or you read something when you're younger. I remember reading that when I was in 9th grade, but I'm curious as to how I'm going to feel about it and how I'm going to think about it after the show.
Yeah, because your perception changes. Sometimes you miss some things, or, you know, when you're younger, you don't fully understand everything that's going on.
Some things can kind of fly over your head and whatnot, but now I get to kind of rethink about it, and I'm like, So, yeah.
I'm that way, when I reread books or I go back and watch a show or movie, I'm like, wait a minute, I never saw that before. Like, that was in there that whole time.
Exactly. So I'm going to make sure I have a lot of coffee.
There we go.
Before I go to Wharton Center tomorrow. But we'll have this and so much more. And if just in case you happen to miss anything, that's okay. You can always head on over to our YouTube at WILX Studio 10, where you can never miss a segment. And you can always go back and rewatch anything that you're looking for.
Perfect. Thank you, Rochelle. And a happy Monday to you. We will see you very shortly. Coming up on 3 o'clock, just over 50 minutes, you can see Studio 10. And, of course, here is their YouTube page at WILX Studio 10. If you want to go back and watch any of their previous segments that they're talking about, again, they are previewing To Kill a Mockingbird at the Wharton Center, so pretty cool stuff. You can go check that out later today if you cannot watch them at 3 o'clock. Or, of course, if you want to go back and rewatch anything or pass it along, you can always go to their YouTube page. But it is the second day of October, and Justin, it's not really feeling like the fall season.
No, it's not. Yesterday didn't, and yesterday probably comes in as the coldest day of the first 4 of the month. Today we're already up into the 80s. In most spots, we will be again tomorrow and again on Wednesday. And so a very warm start to the month, although what we talk about and what we did last week when we touched on it a bit is every warm start to October is often followed eventually by some cooler air.
That is right. That is
and
right.
This year is no different. Despite the fact that it's one of the warmest starts we've had in more than a decade, it's going to cool down a little bit too.
Yes. All right. Well, let's go outside right now because, like you said, it's reaching the 80s, if not in the 80s in some parts. So send it out. But yeah, brace yourself for the cold that will follow.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too and why it's going to happen as well, a little bit more in depth. Now, this is the MSU Skycam outside, Meridian Company Skycam Network. Got deep blue skies, lots of sunshine. You do see some of the leaves starting to change over with the fall colors, although this little warm-up we've got here putting us into a bit of a delay, if you will, but it'll only be a couple days. When the cool air settles in later this weekend, we'll really start to see some of those colors pop across mid-Michigan. But the current numbers already up to 80 degrees, and I think we've got a few more in us the rest of this afternoon. Calm winds out there, not too much in the way of humidity either, so very comfortable stretch we've got going out there. It's 82, the number in Charlotte, 83 in Marshall. Hillsdale's at 80 along with Mason. Jackson is at 81 degrees. So all of us enjoying some well above average warmth, and you can see that dome of warm air extends not just to us, but to places all around the country. How about Marquette and Alpena, way to the north? They're warmer than we are right now, well into the 80s as well. And so this is a very unique pattern. Certainly, there have been instances this early in the year where folks in Marquette have some snow flying through the air. That is not the case today at 82 degrees. And so, again, very warm. But you notice in the top left corner, there's a little bit of some cooler air hanging around up there. Places like Rapid City and especially Glendive, Montana. Now, that's on the other side of this omega blocking pattern, which is when you get, and I've got the arrows to show you here, this is in the upper atmosphere, pretty high up in the sky, but it sort of dominates our overall weather scale patterns around here. It's what's called the jet stream. Now, right now, the jet stream is kind of taking this big bend, and you can see the blue arrows, and starting down in the south, and you can see off towards the Rocky Mountains where they're dealing with plenty of rain showers and also much cooler temperatures. Well, that airflow kind of gets funneled and rides up through the plain states, over the top of the U.S.-Canada border, and then usually down the other side, somewhere through Ontario. Now, we call this an omega block because it bears a striking resemblance to the Greek letter omega, and so that's where it gets its name. It kind of looks a lot like it there. If you know what that letter looks like, that's pretty much what it looks like. And so that's the overall upper air weather pattern that we're dealing with. Now, within this weather pattern, you tend to get a southerly wind, and it brings in warmer air, and so that's why you see the temperatures as high as they are. So we'll go back, and you can kind of see the edge of that right here shown out towards the left side of the screen and riding way up north of Lake Superior back down the other side. And so you notice in the far northeast, even though we don't have a temperature listed, the air is cooler over there, just like the air is cooler on the other side, and that's all part of, again, that omega pattern where the cooler air is on either side of that big flow that we're under the middle of here. Though you notice we're kind of on the right-hand edge of the omega. It is moving from left to right, from west to east, and so we've got 2 more days of this as this kind of moves our direction. Although at that point, it's going to cool down in a hurry, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. We'll look quickly at the hour-by-hour forecast, which, again, has got us warming up to the mid-80s today and then eventually back down the other side. I think it's probably high 50s tomorrow morning. That's how we'll start the day, but skies are staying pretty clear today and tomorrow. Now, the models really get ambitious here. They're sending temperatures into the upper 80s to near 90. I think most of us probably end up around 85, maybe 86 degrees.
Tone it down a bit.
Yeah, but if we do get a little warmer, we'd be coming close to a record. Tomorrow's record high is 90 in Lansing. Today's record high is 86, and Wednesday's is also 86. And really, today and Wednesday, I think we have the best chance to get close, although you never know what could happen tomorrow. Now, you'll notice here as we go out further, we'll lose the temperatures off the map here, but I still think we're in the mid-80s on Wednesday, but we are going to cloud up, and that's going to be ahead of this big pattern breakdown. So today, tomorrow, we get sunshine in 80s. Wednesday's a little cloudier, but still warm. And then we'll get into what the weather pattern holds for us after that in just a moment. We'll look first at the 3-day forecast, which does not look like an October 3-day forecast
way.
here. I don't know if I've ever seen a 3-day in October. As far as certainly as long as I've been working here, which is about 4.5 years, we have not had an October that has started like this one. The 3-day forecast getting us into the 80s, overnight lows in the 60s. I mean, that looks a lot more like a July-August pattern to me than anything else. However, we're going to change things up pretty quickly. By the time we get to Thursday, it's only 70 degrees, and that's because we start at 63. So we only add about 6 or 7 degrees Thursday. Rain showers and clouds take over. Behind that, we're barely in the 60s Friday. Saturday and Sunday, oh my, we're down 53 for the forecast
There's
high.
your fall.
And overnight lows may be dipping into the 30s in many places for the first time this season. Now, even though we try to come up next week, back into the 60s, that's about as far as we get. Another way to kind of visualize this, take away these rain showers, and just think about it from a feels-like standpoint. Here it is, kind of the roller coaster ride. We're near the top. We're going to get down to the valley this weekend. So whereas yesterday we dealt with numbers that were close to 80 degrees, we're going to be dealing with numbers close to 50 on Sunday. At times, if we get a little bit of a northwest breeze, which we should have, we're going to be talking about adding a wind chill to the air.
Oh,
more
no.
than likely, even if it's only taken off a few, even if it's 53, feels like 48, we might be looking at a weather setup like that by the time we get into the weekend. And so that's the direction we're headed. But we are also headed into the holiday season, and so to give folks who are looking forward to that a little bit of a taste of what's to come, we're 29 days from Halloween, we're 52 days from Thanksgiving,
You did the countdown.
and we're 84 days from Christmas Day.
Which one are you looking forward to the most, Justin?
Right now, Halloween, because I get in that one season mode. So you give me until Halloween, that's what I take, and then Thanksgiving, same thing, Christmas, same thing. But those are all going to be coming up, but to be in the 80s for several days like this, coming up on all those major holidays, pretty impressive to have the numbers outside. So Wednesday, maybe take a nice little walk out there in the afternoon, evening if you're able to, and just think, you know what? At that point, you can say we're like 50 days from Thanksgiving, and it feels like this outside.
Well, I do want to mention one more thing. Honestly, in the next few days, you could even go outside, play some baseball.
I know, yeah.
There's a big game.
Not too bad. Yeah, a lot going on. But again, we're really just honing in on trying to enjoy as best we can, right? Just take advantage as much as we can here the next couple of days. The nice weather. Although going down to the 50s not terrible.
No, it's not bad.
I mean, getting to that point. So it's pretty good.
Well, the reason I mentioned baseball is because of Mickey, of course. I know you were very pumped about that.
I was very excited. Yeah, he had his final game of his career yesterday, and of course, very emotional for me, very emotional for a lot of folks. For 16 years, he was with the Tigers organization, brought a lot to the team, a lot of success. He was with us for a lot of the sort of rebuild years we've been in recently, which has at times admittedly been a little tough to watch, but you couldn't have asked for a more poetic setup for him yesterday than to have him go in for one play, have the hard grounder to him, get to field it, take it himself. That was incredible to wrap up what is a first ballot Hall of Fame career. So excited for him as he enters retirement, although he's still staying with the organization. So we'll still see him around from time to time. That's exciting too.
That is exciting. All right, I just wanted to mention that
no,
because
of
it was
course.
cool. It was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, for sure.
A lot of Tigers fans, I'm sure, are happy about that. Anything else, though, with the weather to watch out for?
No, just, this is all actually going to balance out. We talk about the very warm to the very cool. Our normal highs this time of year are in the mid-60s. And so you take the average of 85 and 53, and we're about right there in the middle. So
Yeah.
pretty close to where we should be for the time of year.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Justin. And people can always stay up to date with the First Alert weather app here. So free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. You've got hour by hour radar. There's Justin right there. Satellite. You get your temperatures. You get the Follow Me feature, which you can set your location. So if you're like me this weekend driving up to Munising, you probably put that in as your location. And unfortunately saw that there were some thunderstorms, but that's all right. We maneuvered around it. But yes, completely free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. Go get the First Alert weather app. I do have Mars Anderson here with me right now. There we go. We're going to come to you in just a second, Mars, because first we have Deanna and Tanaya out in the field. But Mars is getting ready to share with you what he has coming up during our 90 minutes of news. We're going to send it out first, and then Mars will come back out.
All right.
Taylor, a Lansing man is being held in the Ingham County Jail after being arrested last night for his 7th DUI. I'm Deanna Giles, and I spoke with Ingham County Sheriff Scott Rigglesworth, who shared details on the case. I'll have that story on News 10 at 5.
GM workers at the Lansing Delta Township plant told me they are striking until their contract negotiations are met. I talked to an auto worker today who shared the impact this strike is having on his family of 4. Hear the story today on News 10 at 6. Throwing it back to you at the desk, Taylor.
All right, thank you tonight, Deanna, for sharing what you have coming up during our 90 minutes of news. Like I said, Mars Anderson is here, and so Mars, lots of coverage, continuing to follow the strikes. What can you tell me that you're working on and what people can expect?
Yes, so this would be a news strike. So, of course, we have done some coverage on the UAW repeatedly. So, also who went on strike before the UAW, auto workers, was another, I guess you could consider it an auto union as well, but it is the Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance workers. So, they work inside of the call centers, and so what they're protesting for is similar to what the auto workers are. So, elimination of pay tiers. So, you have people who've come in after a certain time who make a lot less. They don't have pensions. They don't have benefits for when they retire. So they want everybody to be on that same level. They want to be able to retain employees. The UAW vice president who I spoke with today said that they're creating health insurance experts. Oh, wow. And so this is not an easy job with the systems they use. And then also just having that convenience for the customers to call in and not have to deal with someone who is outsourced working overseas is important to them because, of course, that labor is a little bit cheaper than what it is here. So, of course, they're trying to have their company, the Blue Cross Blue Shield, step up and pay them what they deserve, and then also retain future employees and then cover those who've been there. So I spoke with someone who's also been there for 25 years. So she says there's a stark difference in what her pay is now compared to what someone who would newly come on the job would be. So a lot of things going on there, and I feel, it's a perfect opportunity with all this going on. We see the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. We see the UAW Big 3 strike, and so this is just as important. It affects the economy as well. And then I just learned also that one of the workers out there on the picket lines for Blue Cross Blue Shield has a wife who is also in Local 602, and so they're both on strike. Wow. One for the Big 3 and then one for Blue Cross Blue Shield. So yeah, it's affecting a lot of people.
You said you spoke with them.
Yes. So
you heard like both sides of, striking, but different strikes.
Absolutely, and I guess what the nice thing about is that even though they're both on strike, the UAW does have their strike pay, so they both are, being compensated for their time. But he shared that he has 2 daughters in college. One is a junior in high school, so they're still trying to make ends meet. And yeah, college is expensive as well. So, I guess the big talk is, having that middle class remain established and to live that American dream, and that means, having the proper coverage as far as insurance for not only yourself but for your family, and then also having that livable wage as well. So
anything else you want to add to that? That is a lot to unpack, and this is why we like to bring the reporters up here, because you can share more than you can in your little time crunch there.
Absolutely. I mean, all I can say is, keep it tuned in to our 90 minutes of news. That's where you'll get the most information. So just keep watching News 10.
All right, News 10 at, which one are we coming up?
News 10 at 5:30, but you should watch the 5, 5:30, and 6.
Sure. Yes, I agree with Mars. That was good. Okay. Well, we also want to share what we have coming up during First at 4, followed by the rest of our 90 minutes of news. Mars, thank you. I know you have a lot to keep working on, so we're going to free off. There you go. Thank you. All right. Well, coming up, we have Mid-Michigan Matters back. I know we were off for a couple of weeks on a little hiatus, but hey, we are back, and October 1st through 7th, just to let you know, is Banned Books Week. So we're bringing in Scott Dimstra from Capital Area District Library. He's going to be speaking on Banned Books Week, some of the issues in it, the challenges when it comes to banning books. There's actually been a rise in banning books over the past year. So speaking on why books get banned, how this impacts you as a reader, as a person, and also how this takes an effect on libraries, right? Libraries are that place we can go and they have a whole thing of books. They have all the books. It just goes on and on and on. So talking about all of the banned books and how the library plays into that and what you need to know. Coming up on News 10 at 5. Get ready for this. I know a lot of people are. The long-awaited Trader Joe's Okemos location is getting closer to a reality. There we go. And so we are at the site to check in on how it's going so far. If you're as intrigued as I am and you are ready to go to Trader Joe's, tune in. News 10 at 5. Coming up in News 10 at 5:30, late-night talk shows are returning after a 5-month absence brought on by the Hollywood writers' strike, right? So Mars talking to you about the Blue Cross Blue Shield strike, UAW strike, and this was the other one, the Hollywood workers' strike. So That one, they had that whole tentative agreement, and now the talk shows are returning, like we just said. So find out who will be joining your favorite hosts on their first show back. That's coming up on News 10 at 5:30. Coming up on News 10 at 6 is Manufacturing Week, and over 1,000 students had the chance to learn about the industry today. So we'll hear from some of them as they plan their future, and it's a it's a bright and a beautiful future ahead, so there you go. That is what we have coming up today on First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. Until then, something else I do want to share that we're doing all year long here on News 10. I've mentioned it before, but October is, I believe, let me look this up real quick, make sure I give you the facts right. Mental Illness Month. Here we go. Illness Awareness Month. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. I looked this up not too long ago. So, Mental Illness Awareness Week. Yes, there we go. Okay, so that is also October 1st through 7th. There's a lot of different names throughout the years, but this is the Mental Illness Awareness Week, October 1st through 7th. And so something I do want to mention is our You're Not Alone mental health series. We're doing this all year long here on News 10. And throughout the month, you can see different stories focusing on the community, different steps and actions that they're taking to break the stigma on mental health, to provide resources to the community, and know that you're not alone. So go scan the QR code with your phone. That is on the right of your screen right there. If you scan the code, it'll bring you to our website, WILX.com, and we have a list of resources from all of our counties around us. So Shiawassee, Lenawee, Ingham, Eaton, Ionia, Calhoun, many different, Clinton, there you go. So if you go onto our website, WILX.com, or you scan that QR code, the list of resources will pop up for you, whether that's for you, someone you know, or just anyone else out in the community. And they're just good to have on hand. So that is our You're Not Alone mental health series. Until then, it is Monday. We're getting the work week started off here, and with very beautiful temperatures. I know Seth Wells and Maureen Halliday have their dog Tilly outside taking a little nap on the couch. So Tilly, if I were off work, I would join you. But yes, go enjoy the sun and the warmth today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And until then, Studio 10 is coming up at 3 o'clock in just over half an hour, followed by First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. Have a great Monday, everyone.